What's happening, family? Welcome to this video. Hope you're having a great day or a great evening wherever you're watching this from. It is morning time here in Greece, and I had a great sleep, and I'm super excited to dive into this topic. So when it comes to the discipline of growth hacking, it's a type of activity where you are really only limited by your creativity and your imagination. And I wanted to introduce you to this framework. It's called the Cynefin framework, and I was turned onto this concept several years ago by my friend Taylor Pearson, who I met in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and he wrote the book The End of Jobs. And it basically shows this division of labor where maybe 100 years ago, we had like well-established best practices where 80% of the global population was doing farm work. And it's something that people have been doing for thousands of years since the ancient Varna culture, the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Sumerians, and so forth. So it's very well established, like what people need to do every day, where they're putting their efforts, their time, and so forth. And then work became increasingly more complicated and complex. So complicated tend to be like the more advanced jobs, like blue collar jobs, where you have things like unions and things. And then you had complex work where you have to get advanced degrees, like master's degrees and so forth, like doctorates, engineering, architects, and so forth. And then you have this realm, which is where many of us are operating in today, which is the chaotic realm of work. And so AI and systems like ChatGPT is a perfect example, because it's 2023 right now, and ChatGPT did not exist a few months ago. In December of last year, nobody was using ChatGPT. And so we're all just kind of we're kind of testing, tweaking models to find the best practices, because there's no course, there's no book. You can't get a college degree in how to use ChatGPT. There's no course on it yet. And by the time that you do create that information, it's already outdated, because people are innovating more and more and more. And so growth hacking, the kind of work that I do and that I'm teaching, is kind of in this chaotic sense. I'm spending most of my time here, and I do have some best practices that I use over and over again, which are complex. But a big part of it is testing. It's lacking constraint, and it's acting, sensing, getting the feedback, and responding. It's a novel practice. And so that's why I say that we're really only limited when it comes to these tactics by our imagination and our creativity. And so I wanted to show you, like another example of an easy growth hack that I've developed. Maybe you can call this a complex strategy to connect with influential people. And I just want to give this as an example. It's something that works for me. And I also want to encourage you to find, ways that you can improve your practices, like I'm doing, like following this Cynefin framework. And in a previous lesson, I showed you, I'm trying to get out of this full screen here. Let me see if I can do that. In a previous lesson, I showed you how a simple strategy to scrape a lot of these partners that I wanted to get on board as course creators, potential partners, in a previous lesson. So I used this keyword, and I used this extension data miner to get all of these people, and then simply reached out to them to get them on board as partners. So in this one, I want to show you another easy hack that I've developed just as part of following this Cynefin framework, this chaotic practice of testing things to target thought leaders and influential people online. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to target moderators and admins of groups to reach out to them as potential partners. So you can see in a campaign last year, at the end of last year, I targeted a whole bunch of realtor groups. So first I created a list of realtor groups, and then I specifically target these lists where it says members/admins. And then I have this whole list of all of these admins of these realtor groups. There's probably a couple hundred of them here, at least 100. And before I get into the technicals of this strategy, I want to show you just a simple DM and sequence and what it led to for me. So when I was touring around India, I was doing this book tour for my book, Dr. Growth. I think it was in 2017 or 2018. And just as a result of the strategy that I'm about to show you, I got invited to speak at this hackathon in Hyderabad in front of around 300 students. And this was actually a picture from the event. I have a lot of pictures from that event and also received a plaque. And it was all the result of a simple DM message to this admin of this group, this local group in Hyderabad. It was this group called Entrepreneur Cafe. And this, you can see, was in March of 2018. So I'm actually recording this in March of 2023. It was almost exactly 5 years ago when I launched this book, and I was touring around the world to promote it and host workshops. And so I was basically just reaching out to these admins, telling them about, my project or what it is that I'm doing at the moment. So at that time, I was basically just hosting these talks at co-working spaces in different cities around the world. And I just said, I'm a 6-time best-selling author, and I'm hosting this exclusive free live event in Hyderabad called Growth Hacking Revolution, which I think will be perfect for your members and so forth. Here's a link to the event. Would love to see you. And then I can't get the whole, conversation thread in here. But basically he said, I'll do my best to attend and you can share it in the event. And he wasn't actually able to attend that particular event because something came up, but he invited me to speak at this other event that he was organizing, this hackathon final. And he invited me to be one of the speakers. And the reason why I wanted to show you this is because, all of this happened just as a result of this little Facebook DM that I had sent out to these admins. He obviously wasn't the only admin that I contacted. I probably contacted several dozen of these moderators, and nobody knows that I was invited to this because it was just a result of this direct message in Facebook. They don't realize how easy and innocent it actually was. They just know me as this 6-time best-selling author. And so this is kind of like how you make this magic happen. It's kind of how you make this luck happen. And so I want to kind of get into the reason why I'm recording this screen sharing video is because I want to get into the techniques that make this work. So you can see, like, if I go to another niche, I showed you this, these are realtor groups. So these are all keywords like realtors, real estate agents, real estate brokers that I looked up on Facebook. And you can see this is another list of groups for this keyword phrase, digital nomad. And I have this long list of groups. There's about 70 groups that are related to remote work and digital nomad. And so using this list as an example, I want to show you exactly how to set all of this up. Now, if I take one of these links to one of these groups, I have the names over here on the left, and I have the links over here on the right. And it's actually hard for me to edit these documents while I'm recording, but I'm going to try. Here's the link to the group, and if I open that, then I can go and I can easily find all of the members of groups like this if I just type in members. And so this used to be easy to find in here under these tabs, but Facebook has since made it more difficult. But nevertheless, we can easily find these lists of users if we just type in this after the end of the URL. And we can see here there's 45,000 members in this list, and we can narrow this down further. We can see the admins and moderators, the top contributors. I can click see all. I can see my friends in the group, and then I can see friends of friends in the group. So all of these people I have mutual friends in common with. And the really interesting thing here is that if I click on any of these where it says see all, Facebook will provide me with this unique link, and I'll be able to easily see all of these people. So I don't actually get this link when it comes to admins and moderators like I do with these contributors and so forth. So I can open these in new tabs and get a special URL here where it says contributors. Same with things in common. Okay, we we've seen that, but I can also get a unique list of friends. And so what you can do with a lot of these groups as well is to target these admins and moderators and so forth. And I can't actually click the link on this list at the moment, but fortunately it's very easy to find them just by adding admins to the end of the URL. And so for this particular group, there's only 3 admins. So for that reason, it's often good to have a lot of links like you can see here. And that's really easy to do. You know, you just have to take these URLs and add that URL structure. So where it says friends, I'll just replace that with admins. And then I'll do I'll do friends and find and replace that with admins. And there you go. And so I can copy and paste this to all of these groups. Now you're probably asking, how do I get this huge list of groups in the first place? And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But I just wanted to show you how this works. And so I have all of these URLs. I can copy and paste this. And if I put them into a document, normally I would just create a new document, but I'll show you in this one very quickly. I have a space between the end of the group link and where it says members, so obviously I'll have to delete that. And what I'll do is I'll just find and replace all of those with this and get rid of the spaces. And then I have my nice list of Facebook admins with the, well, I don't need to put them back in here. If I want to, I can create a new column with them combined, but you can see how easy that is to do that. And what I do next is I go to my software on my VPS, and I can take this list and scrape all of the admins and get a nice list that I can reach out to. And then I can send them messages like the ones that I showed you in this example. So let me connect to my VPS. And oops, I had some unfinished work here. Let me save that before I get into it. I had a previous list that I scraped from LinkedIn and forgot to save it last time, apparently. Okay, so that's done. Let me get out of LinkedIn and I will go to Facebook. And then under contact, I can go to extract members. And this is my software again. If you haven't seen it in a previous lesson, this is called Mass Planner. Full disclosure, it's not publicly available. You can't sign up for this publicly. The only way to get invited is through a member. So I will make sure to remember to include that email address to receive an invite for this software. And you could copy me on the email. I'll also put my email address in there too, so that you can be invited to receive a trial of this software. But before you do that, I recommend setting up a virtual computer like this so that this software can run. All right, so with that said, all I have to do is go to extract users once I paste in this list, and then I will reduce the scroll time probably by to about 10% of what it currently is, because it doesn't take long, maybe even like 10 to 20 seconds, because there are not a lot of moderators for it to scroll through in general on these pages. And then so I just go to extract users and it will perform that operation. And then I will see the results on here and it will neatly deposit those users into this list for me. So previously I scraped 436 users. If I have a long list of groups to scrape, it will collect all of those admins for me. And that's a really cool growth hack where you can find and curate a big list of all of these influential people in all of these little niches. And it could really be any niche that you choose. Like you saw previously, I had collected all of these admins from these realtor groups. I've done the same for this, like all these digital nomad groups. You can do the same for like startup groups. And so let me show you another list where I just focus on specific keywords. And then I'll show you, before I sign off, I'll show you exactly how I scrape all of these lists. So I have a big list of like startup groups, marketing groups, entrepreneurial groups. Here's another one like social media, agency, so forth. And this one I probably have several hundred of them. And you can see I have the names over here on the left, and I have the URLs just to the right. And in this one in particular, there's 234. If I go to all of my groups, there's probably a lot more. Yeah, I don't know where that particular sheet is, but let me show you. So this is other keywords like social media, agency, marketing, all business related groups for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, freelancers, startups, and so forth. And again, 374 groups if you subtract the first row. And so I can easily follow the same strategy to get all of the admins of these groups, and then it'll show me the URL, like which group they're a member of. And I can say, I noticed that you're a member of the Stacking Growth group. I have this event that I'm hosting or this online webinar. Do you think we can share it to the group? And by the way, we can also partner if you want to become an affiliate or if you want to work out a mutually beneficial partnership or relationship. So this is a very easy way to break the ice and establish partnerships with all of these admins. And if I go back, and I'm going to go back into the software, and down here where it says campaigns and destination lists, this is where I'm able to find all of these groups in the first place. So if I go to, well, you can see like Danny Flood Facebook, and I have all these different niches, but it has my Facebook account connected. And these are all of the groups that I'm a member of. So there's nearly 1,700 groups that I'm a member of. And I can just type in any keyword in here. I'm going to go to select none. And let's just take a random one. Let's say like travel or backpacking, something. So I'm in a lot of travel groups. And I'll just go to select all. And you can see that I have 72 groups that are related to travel that I can target. So depending on what it is that I'm trying to, whatever initiative that I'm focused on at the moment, I can easily find these groups and break the ice with all of the moderators who can help to promote it within their networks that they have built. And once I'm done, I can just go and I can use the software to create campaigns where I'm posting content to the groups in subsequent steps, or I can extract this list and scrape all of the moderators like I just showed you. So once I have this list of keywords selected, I can go here where it says execute actions, export selected, and then I can save this and import it into a spreadsheet. Now, once you're ready to import this into a spreadsheet, you need to divide these by column. So name, group link, and number of users, as you can see I did here. And the way to do that, again, I don't want people to get stuck, so you just have to go to split text to columns, and then it'll ask you what you want to use to separate it. So you might use a comma. That's probably the best in this specific instance. All right, so I want to make sure that I don't forget anything before I end this video. You might be asking, like, how do you find and join all of these groups in the first place? That's an excellent question. So let me go back to my social media account, and you'll see two other tools under my account where it says Finder and Joiner. So you can see here I can extract groups from keywords like digital nomad, remote work, co-living, co-working, and then I click extract groups, and it'll give me this list down here. Okay, well this was another list that I had previously extracted, but you can see that there's 300 groups here. And I can send these to the Joiner tool, and then under the Joiner tool, I can join all of these groups. So why don't I go ahead and do that actually. I'm going to remove all of these groups that I had previously scraped, which are all in Korea, because I was helping a friend with that. And where's the option to delete? Ah, yes, more actions. Remove selected. And here I can set some filters. I can say skip groups with fewer than 300 users. Let's say bring a maximum of 40 groups. I don't want it to work for too long. and then I'm going to start the group finder. And maybe after like 15 minutes, I'll have a nice list here, and then I can set up my account to slowly join all of these groups. I don't want to join too many, so you can see that I tell it to wait about more than an hour and a half, and maybe like 1 to 10 per day. So I'm doing this very conservatively. I don't want to rush. I don't want to do this too fast. And I can set up all of these different actions from this interface. And that's how you get this big list of groups to join. And I'm really excited for you. I think that, if you just follow the steps in this video, break the ice with all of these admins, moderators, and so forth, you'll be able to get a lot of interesting connections. So just from today, from one of these automated messages, I connected with this guy, and he has this big group where he says he has like 80,000 members. I don't even know what it is yet because I haven't continued the conversation with him yet. I just responded to him today, but it was a result of one of these automated direct messages like I just showed you from the software. So it was this guy, Reginald Chan, and he just received this automated message yesterday, and he said, thanks for reaching out. We are serving 60 to 80K unique website visitors monthly, and I have no idea what it is he actually does or what he's referring to, but when I open this in Messenger, it showed me that we have 87 mutual friends in common. And so just from this automated DM, I got this new partnership in my inbox, and I'm super excited to follow up and maybe get this guy on a call and see how we can work together. And similarly, I've been a member of other groups, and I've contacted people like last year, for example, this group, Entrepreneurs and Startups in Malaysia. And one of the admins of this group is actually like the organizer for these TEDx talks. And although I haven't actually given my TEDx talk yet, I haven't been invited to give my TEDx talk, but if anyone is watching this and knows somebody, I would love to connect with them. He connected me to a bunch of really influential people that I met with, and I made some interesting partnerships and relationships through him. And as you can see, this group has 115,000 members. And so it was just one of the admins of this group, and it was following the exact same strategy that I'm teaching you in this lesson. And also with this guy, I actually ended up co-hosting a couple of events together as well in Kuala Lumpur when I was in Malaysia for a couple of months. And I think one of those was like the KL Kindred Spirits meetup. And so you can see this is how like one thing leads to another. You can set up the automated like icebreaker, the first message to these people, and then you can say, hey, let's host an event together for all of your members. And then you get an event and you have 60 people there, and then you make a whole bunch of other great connections, and then you connect to those connections and say, it was great to meet you. Do you happen to know anyone that would want this or be interested in doing this? And that's just kind of how it works. And so it was this guy that I connected with, Daniel, and he was also interested in hosting a few events. And so we did a couple of these events. Like this was one of the ones that I hosted last year for KL Kindred Spirits, Entrepreneurs and Startups. And we basically shared it in that group. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was helpful that I showed you kind of behind the scenes how to make all of this work. And I hope that you get out there and make it happen for yourself. Thanks for watching. And as always, I'll catch you in the next lesson.